Hello and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I am Michael Gracia, and I got a really fun guest tonight. One of the nicest guys I know in the industry. I've known him for a few years now. Great writer. He's got a new book up on Kickstarter, but it's not just his first book, it's the fifth in a series of books he's doing. The name of the book is called Adventures of a System Admin. The one currently on Kickstarter is called Back to Business. Let me bring on Juan Espinosa. Hello, Juan. How you doing?
Hello there. How
How
are
you
you?
doing? Good. You can hear me? Good.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we had a little tech issue behind backstage. So, first of all, thank you for coming on tonight. It's a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you for
Uh,
inviting me.
oh, anytime, man. I would even invite you if you didn't have anything to plug. All right, it's
Thank
it's you're a good guy, and I'm just looking down at the Kickstarter, which we're going to look at in a little bit. But before we get into your Kickstarter tonight, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Let's get the audience get to know you. And before I ask my first question, I want to make sure everyone knows how to find you. So down at the bottom, going across the screen, sorry, I had an itch, is Juan's um, uh, social media. You go on any
Handle,
social
yeah.
media, yeah, on any social media site, you will find him at, how do you say, Gordy Don?
Yeah, that's correct.
Gordy
Perfect.
Don. All right. So, anybody watching at any point, you have comments, questions, just drop them in the comments section, and I'll make sure that I ask the questions for you. So, let's get into it. Talk to me about when you got into comics, not making them, but being entertained. When did you start reading? What were they? Who were some of your favorites, and some of your favorite, like, whether they're writers, artists that inspired you to come on and start creating?
Okay. So I was not that into comics.
Mhm.
So and I started reading mainstream comic like Marvel and DC on 2016 actually.
Wow.
That recently, yeah.
Yeah.
But then this question always come like, what was the first comic that you read? And I'm like, hmm, I don't remember like from before. But then I got like a couple of months ago, I realized I did read comics when I was a kid.
Mhm.
The name was Condorito, Spanish from Chile.
Mm.
So that's very popular in like South America. So I read those comics when I was a kid. My mom always bought those books for me, but I didn't
Yeah.
see it as comic because
Mhm.
there was no superheroes and no
Yeah.
capes, no nothing like that. So I didn't see it as comic. But then I realized that is actually a comic that I used to read.
What was the name of it again? I'm sorry. I want to write it down because I'm not. I like looking at comics from other places. So what was the name of it?
Condorito,
Condor.
con con Orito.
Dor. Dorito. That's what I got. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. And you said it's a South American comic. Okay. For our audience, since we're not all from that area here, can you tell us a little bit about what that comic was and what it was about?
It was about the everyday life of this condor. It's like a little a bird, but it's like like the talks and everything. So it was
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff that he went through, and he got, I would say that he got bullied a lot.
Uh
So
huh.
they make fun of him and all those stuffs, but he
Yeah.
somehow he was smart.
Yeah.
So that it was all this stuff, like, his adventures, real life
Yeah.
stuff. That's
It
what
was
it was all
was
about.
okay. All right. I
Yeah.
I, I actually look forward to, because when I look at comics from other countries, more Europe, than I haven't really looked at anything from South America, but they're usually very cartoony. They're different than the superheroes we look at here. Oh, I lost you again. Is that
Okay.
better? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having headset issues tonight. I don't know what's going on. If it gets really bad, I will switch to a different mic, but you might hear my fan in the background, and I apologize if you do. Um, what I was saying was, um, I haven't really looked at South American comics before. I tend to look at more European. I'm highly influenced by like the Belgian comics that Asterix, the Smurfs, things like that, Tintin, those type of comics, and I tend to see them a little more cartoony. So the style that you're talking about is kind of probably more towards that, like a cartoony or a Looney Tunes type
That's
of
why
thing.
it never came to mind like, oh, this is a comic book. There was no superhero, like I said. It was so much like a cartoon
Yeah.
but then I realized that is a comic.
Yeah.
That was my first one when I was like 5 years old.
Cool. Well, I look forward to checking that out. I love that you gave me that I could. Oh, okay. Whoops, wrong thing. And all right. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me? Nope. All right, guys. Oh, of course. Can you hear me now? Nope. How about now?
Nope.
No. Okay. Okay, is that good? You know what? Hold on. We're going to try one more thing. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to, where is that wire?
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna change my wire real quick just to be safe. I'll switch off my headset and everything. I was trying to find the proper wire. Give me 1 second.
No worries. Things happen. Technology's like that.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No.
No.
Oh, now yes.
Oh, now you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just pulling. I took you off here. I don't know why I'm having mic issues. I've never had that before with the headsets. Anyway, let's move on. So you started, kind of late in life with comics. You started in 2016 reading them in the sense of getting into mainstream. What kind of books were you reading?
When I started, actually, my wife cousin, he lent me like Batman's graphic novels that he has. So he started lending me all those books, and I started reading those. And then I started looking for Spider-Man. Like my son loves Spider-Man, so I kind of went through Spider-Man. So I started collecting those.
Yeah.
And from then, Hulk, and those were the main ones I was reading. That's how it all started. And then obviously I went to indies. So I started reading the ones from Alex Simmons, Blackjack, the graphic novels.
Yeah.
So I started reading those, and from there, all indies basically. I read more indies than anything.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of indies these days myself. And were those what inspired you to create your own book, or?
Well, the book that inspired me to create the comic book was The Art of Making Comics by Alex Simmons, which I bought on my first Comic-Con that I went, which was Kids Comic-Con, where I met you in 2016. Yeah. So I bought that book there. I went home, I read it, and I followed the steps that he displayed there and just created my own book. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And you decided to write what you know. You work in IT, right? And so you created a comic called Adventures of a System Admin. And we're going to talk about the 5th book in a little bit, which is what's currently up on Kickstarter. But tell us a little bit about how you started developing the stories. Where does the story are they based on real life experiences? Where are you getting the stories for the admin? Since you lost me again. Ooh. What is going on tonight? 1 second, guys. Okay. Let me try this. God.
I can hear you now.
All right, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, now I'm getting an echo. Let me try something else. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. That's better. I don't know what's going on. My computer's. I'm talking to an IT guy here, so let me share a little IT story with you. I have a MacBook Pro.
Okay.
I've been a Mac guy for years. I'm not anti-PC, but I just, because of the business I'm in, it's always kind of lent itself to Mac. I was working on a project. My computer shut down on me. Cleaned it completely off. I even bought a new computer. It was a PC. Within 10 days, that died. Got traded in for a new version of that. Brought in, hard drive crashed within 2 hours of setting it up. So I went back to my Mac, and I needed to because I had to get through freelance. I haven't had any issues until tonight with any sound, without any recording. So I think I'm going to be looking into a new PC very soon and leaving Mac.
Oh yeah, no. I'm a Mac guy too. I have a MacBook Pro and an Air.
Look, I'm all for Mac. I love it. I have an iPhone. I have an iPad. I have everything. I'm very Mac based. But if I'm going to have these issues, I think I'm going to go PC based. But I thought you'd appreciate it being an IT guy. It's always computer problems.
Yeah. There's always something. Yeah. Yeah.
So, getting back to my question, was these based on actual life events and stories that you've had to deal with?
So you can say that, but I cannot use my own life experience from work or use whatever tools we use because that's not legal, right? So I use experiences that I know anybody can have as an IT guy, and I also use experience from other people that are in the IT field and that they share. So that's how I kind of create those. But I cannot use my own only my own experience because of legal matters. But yeah, you can say that things is what I, even when I'm working outside of my regular job, like IT guy, everybody needs you. So you do work after work.
Yeah.
So the experiences after work, I put it also there because those are I can do that.
Yeah. Like, I wish I didn't even think until now. A few years back, I never made the comic, but I was talking with an IT friend of mine, and we came up with an IT superhero. And I wish I had the drawing of the character just available that I could pull out and show you. I'm going to have to look for it and send it to you. And the name of the character was Super Ultra Mega Tech Guy. And it was supposed to be his adventures in the IT world, going into computers and stuff. Your story has nothing to do with that, or is he going into computers or into cyber worlds and stuff? Or
yeah, that's right. Well, cybersecurity is more the base of the team here. So yeah.
So I'm probably gonna have to scrap that whole comic idea.
No, that's why I created the book also, because when I was getting into comics and trying to read comics, I was looking for IT related stuff, but I couldn't find. Everywhere I go, oh no, superhero and the same stuff. So I'd say that let me just create one. Maybe people can see it as I'm looking for it.
And there's a lot of people I know in the IT industry are big comic fans, and when they're not doing their work, they actually spend a lot of time reading like web comics, manga, stuff like that online. So I thought, when I heard about this and I saw this, I'm like, this is a great idea. Now I have to be honest, I haven't had a chance to read any of your issues. Every time I see you, we're at a con, we're busy. I haven't had a chance to pick up a book, but I've flipped through it. And the artwork in there is really nice.
Yes.
I know you're the writer, but the artist you found really does a nice job. It makes, next time I see you, I will be picking up a book, definitely. I gotta purchase a book.
And
I'm looking at the Kickstarter on my other monitor down here, and it keeps staring at me. I'm like, this is just beautiful. So so definitely next time I'll definitely pick this up.
yeah, and I found out artists actually reading about security in Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I follow this security researcher.
Yeah.
So he retweeted a comic, like a comic strip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, this is like actually technology based comics. So I went to read the comic, and then I saw who created it
Yeah.
and draw it. I'm like, oh, let me contact them. So I contact them through Twitter, and we hook up right in the spot. Oh, and that's how we all began.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So the main character I'm looking at is definitely based on you.
Correct. Yep.
When you had a little more hair on top, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's gone.
It happens to the best of us, right? What's that old saying? What was it? God made few perfect heads, but the ones he didn't like, he covered with hair.
Okay, I'll go with that.
So I want to look at your stuff in a moment, but before we get into your comic, I want to talk about something that's definitely important to you. That's your beard.
Yes.
Right? And I'm saying that because when you guys see the artwork, if you haven't seen it before, the main character has a beard, and it's basically based on you here.
Yeah.
So that beard, you just wanted a beard, and you said, I really want it long, right?
Well, no, I just say I'm not shaving because my skin is sensitive. Because when I was younger, I had a bunch of pimples, like all this. I can touch my face and it would go blood.
Yeah.
It was that bad. So after it went away, my skin is so sensitive that when I shave, I get bumps. So I say, you know what? This is not for me. I'm gonna let it grow. But I didn't think about leaving it all this big. I just say, just leave it whenever. Yeah.
That looks good.
Thank you. And it's a good selling point. You know, when people go to events and they watch my beard, and they see the character, they just go into the book.
Yeah, you're basically cosplaying yourself.
And my mom wanted me to cut it a little bit. I'm like, Mom, this is the selling point. How you I cannot do that to myself.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, and not to turn this into a beard conversation, but you know, when I originally first grew my goatee, is because I cut my upper lip shave, and I'm like, I'm never shaving my upper lip again. And I grew a goatee, and then years later, I'm like, I don't want to shave anymore. And like you, I have very sensitive skin, so I grew the beard. But it kind of gets a little unruly for me, so I'm going to trim it really short soon, I think. But you know, it would be nice to have something nice and nice and bushy and fun like that. Sometimes I don't know what else to call it. I keep a little bit longer at the chin. That's about it. Anyway, we're sidetracking. I don't think the audience needs to know about my shaving habits, at least. But your beard was so iconic for you that you even named your company.
Yeah, Bearded Man Comics. So,
Bearded Man Comics, which you got your shirt right there.
Yeah.
Yep. So Bearded Man Comics all came, by the way, from Alex Simmons, who, we all know. If you guys don't know Alex, look up his work. Blackjack is his independent stuff, but he's done work for DC and other companies. Yeah, Archie, other companies. He's a great writer. And he puts on Kids Comic Con. I believe it usually happens in April. It didn't happen this year, to my knowledge. Obviously pandemic stuff.
Yeah, they're doing a Saturday a special this Saturday, I think it is.
Oh, is it this Saturday? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's always for the kids, and I've appeared there. Like we said, that's where we met.
Yep.
So your book though is kid friendly, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Hold on. Okay, I don't know what the heck I just hit. So something just popped up on my screen. I'm okay. Okay, so why don't we get to the Kickstarter. I'm going to share the Kickstarter page, and we can take a look at it. And window. And here
So
we
yeah,
go.
there was someone that sent me a message, a Kickstarter actually, asking me if it was kids friendly because she wanted to buy it for her son.
Mm.
So I just told her the only word that I put there is maybe heck.
Oh,
But someday I just told her because sometimes it all depends on what you want your kids to listen to. So
yeah.
if that's a word that you don't, then that's gonna be there. But then aside from that, there's nothing. There's no violence. There's nothing. Yeah.
No, and that's great. That you don't see a lot of comics specifically made in that way for kids. Heck, to me, isn't a bad word. I do kid friendly work, and I've used a little heavier terminology in my books that I created. When I was doing Plunger Pup back in the 90s, I used the words crap, crud, things like that, because he's a plumber. So he's a super plumber, so he needs, there's going to be things like, he's pissed off, things like that.
Yeah.
So, but heck, that's the calmest I've ever heard in a comic, So, okay, so I'm gonna remove us from the screen and give the Kickstarter the full page. People will be able to hear us. So I just want to show everything as large as possible here.
Okay.
And as we look here at the Kickstarter, Adventures of a System Admin Back to Business Issue 5. Now, just to make it clear, Issue 5 is called Back to Business. Your other books are different titles.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we try to watch the video right now? Hopefully the sound plays for everybody at home, and we'll take a look at this here.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Juan Espinosa, writer and creator of Adventures of Assistant Admin. This is our third Kickstarter, and we are going into our fifth issue of the series. Aside from the fifth issue, we have also compiled a volume 1, which includes issue 1 through 4, as well as a bonus short story. We are also excited to announce that the fourth word will be written by Alex Singh, a well-established writer, creator, and educator, but most importantly, my friend and mentor. Now, please enjoy this amazing animated trailer for issue 5, Back to Business. Also, check our rewards, which includes pops and USB hubs. Let's make it happen, guys.
Wow. Okay, first off, I want to say, hold on, to the right screen here. First off, I want to say that was an awesome trailer. Okay, I love the animation to it. I actually have done motion comics, so looking at that, I was, I'm very impressed by the level of anime. It's so simple, but the movement worked with the music. Your intro was great, and based on your pledge goal, you have already major goal. You've basically doubled it, right? So what? I can't hear you now. Hold on. Okay.
200 or something percent. Yeah.
Yeah.
100, yeah.
And we're gonna look at the rewards in a minute, but this was fantastic. You have 6 days to go, and let's take a look at the Well, you want to tell us a little bit about the story instead of me reading it to the audience? Just give us a little background on it.
Yep. So the story is based on this Latino guy from the Dominican Republic that he dropped out from college because he thought that his talent were being wasted, and he wanted to create his own company. But in order to create his own cyber company, he needed experience. So he dropped out. He started searching for jobs. Like he got rejected like dozens of times, but there was somebody that knew him in a company that he applied, so they hired him. So he was hired to be assistant admin, which meant at the time to protect and fight hackers from exfiltrating data from that company. So that was his main job. So it's the adventure of him and the IT group finding ways to prevent hackers from exfiltrating data. It's like the day-to-day stuff in the IT department.
Nice. Which, by the way, oh, let me just go to the comments real quick. You have a good evening from Mike Wilkie, who thanks for tuning in, and a hello from Mike Lopez. So thanks for watching. I like, what I like about this? Number one, it isn't the typical superhero story. It's not a superhero story in general, but it's a story about just a guy doing his job.
Yep.
Kind of, and it's just to me, that's a great message to have, that it doesn't have to be, you can kind of be a hero at work, and not have to have powers.
And if you want to look at it like that, you can say that that JJ is a superhero because he's trying to save the company from getting like all messed up. But yeah, he's just like a regular guy doing his job.
And that's great. As we look, before we go to the rewards, let's just scroll down, look at some of this.
It's also in Spanish. I don't know if you saw it there. So it's also
I was actually going to talk to you about that. And I don't know, I don't want you to take this wrong, because I'm not trying to insult you. You obviously have an accent. Yep. So when you write and you say that, and I saw in the video it had a translator, was that translating you for English or translating it for Spanish? Like, how, when you write, are you writing in Spanish or in English?
No, I write in English.
Okay. So the translator is for Spanish. Okay. Because I ask because, like, I know people from other countries lived here a long time, but they still think in their head in their original language. So sometimes, they're
it's a little bit challenging, but we gotta think in English so we can write better, I guess. Because if not, then you start trying to translate, and that's messed up.
I think that's great though. And you got, and I'm reading here, Alex Simmons. So you got him to write the introduction, the forward to the book. That's great. He is a really good writer. So if you guys, like I said, don't know him, look up his stuff. And then the name of the artist is Adrian, I believe I remember.
Yeah, Adrian Iglesias.
Okay. Really great.
He's from Argentina, but he lives in Barcelona.
Okay. Nice. And you got digital copies. We're looking at the rewards right now, which will go down. Actually, we can just do it right now since we're coming down. So for $5, you can get the current digital copy.
Mm-hmm.
For $10, you can get all 5 issues digital, whether in English or Spanish.
Yeah.
$15, you get a physical copy and a digital copy of issue 5. And the same thing is that the one in Spanish?
Yeah, that's the variant cover.
Oh, that's the premium. Yeah, the variant right there. I'm sorry. And then still for $15, this is a limited one. You get the copies, and what does that say? 2 prints and a sticker.
Yep.
Nice.
And that sticker is for another story that I wrote, and it's coming on the summer.
And is that going to be up on Kickstarter too?
Yeah, but it's going to be part of an anthology, so a bunch of other stories. Yeah.
All right. This one's out here. No, you know what? I'm hearing another echo. Give me a second. I want to change my mic again.
No worries.
There's my. Oops, there's wrong monitor. Okay. Audio. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, let's try that. This sound's going to be all weird today, but as long as everyone could hear it, I apologize to everybody in the audience. I'm still hearing a bit of an echo, but I don't know what's. Hopefully, you guys aren't hearing it.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it.
Yeah. So we go up to 25, which is sold out, and that came with a USB hub.
Yep.
Was that a USB A or C?
Oh no, that's a regular 3.0.
A 3.0.
Yeah.
Okay. The physical copy of Volume 1. So Volume 1 includes issues 1 through 5 or 1 through 4?
1 through 4, and an extra short story that I released last year as a free version.
Okay.
So I put it in there as well, which is like a small bridge between issue 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So that short story is part of this volume 1.
Yeah. Okay. For 30, you get the physical copy, you get the issue, and you get a digital copy. Well, you get a digital and physical copy of Volume 1 and digital copy of issue 5. For 35, you get the digital copy of Volume 1 and physical, as well as digital and physical of 5. 40, you get the digital and physical copy of Volume 1 and the USB hub. Okay. 50, which is sold out. It don't matter right now. Oh my God, this is awesome. I just saw the little pop figure right here. So you get the digital and physical copy of issue 5 and the pop for $100. How did you get this pop figure made up? Is this a custom pop that you had made, or what? Did you actually go to Funko?
No, it's a custom made. So I found this guy Biet, that one of Greg Anderson Alice, he commissioned him for his Kickstarter. So I saw him and I commissioned him to do one last year to see how it looked.
Yeah.
And I this looks very, very nice. So I commissioned him for this Kickstarter. So we got a couple of those available. So it's a custom made. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love the look of it.
I think I can show it right here.
Hold on, let me give you the screen real quick. Solo light. There you go. Oh, that looks awesome.
Oh, this is the back right here.
That's the one in the box too. Yeah. That really is fantastic. So, how many people want their own Funko? I mean, I think everybody wants to design. It's actually funny. Funko at one point became a major influence on my cartoony drawing style.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I started drawing kind of the heads the Funko way and the bodies the Funko way. And I started doing that I still do it for fun every now and then, but I wasn't really stealing Funko. It was just kind of the idea of the slightly bigger head and the body that way. But yeah, I kind of broke up the characters into the shapes, into the chubby little shapes that Funko uses. Yeah. 115, you get a digital physical copy of Volume 1 and the pop. And then milestones, 2 digital backgrounds. That's when you hit 95%, which you've already done.
Yes.
Milestone reward number 2, preview of, how do you say it? El Galopi?
El Galipote.
Okay, I won't even attempt it again. I don't want to insult anyone. When you hit 80 backers, which you've already done, congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Stretch goal. This stretch goal you've hit.
Yep.
2 physical prints. You hit this one too. A nice magnet. You hit this one as well. 3 stickers.
Yeah, that one is special because those stickers were designed by my 13-year-old niece.
Can I tell you something? And I think I might have commented on this on one of the social media posts. You put a picture up that she did. And I got to say, for 13 years old, she's got a lot of skill and a lot of talent. She's going to be fierce competition by the time she's even 18, with people in the industry.
Yeah, my mom showed me yesterday one that she made like 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God.
She's really good. Really good. Now, Okay. This is what we're working towards on the stretch goal right here.
Yes.
This animated version of the Outbreak short story, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, so that's the story I released at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. So I released this one for free, and I decided to create an animated version of it.
Nice. And let me tell you, I'm a huge motion comic fan. I'll even watch them on YouTube. I'll look up motion comics and watch whatever I can find. This is just great. Is this the same animator as the one for the?
No, this
No?
is another one. Yeah,
Who? What?
this is another one. Yeah.
Who? If you don't mind me asking, who did the animation on this? Because I'm loving it.
His name is Anderson. He live in Venezuela.
Okay.
Yeah, and the one for the trailer, Bio. His name is Bio, and he live in Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just going all international for all your people. That's fantastic.
I get those same people because I follow all those indies guy.
Yeah.
And I see who they use and what they do, and if I like their work, then I just reach out to them.
No,
The
that's
same people I work with other indie guys too.
that's how the community builds. You know, a few weeks ago, I had a couple of old coworkers of mine who formed their own comic book company. On it was their second appearance, but a lot of their people they work with are from all over the place, and it's because they followed and made connections through things like Twitter and Instagram, and it's the way of the business now. You know, if you know. Social media is our best friend and greatest enemy, at least in my opinion. I'm not a huge social media fan, but I use it out of necessity, and it's fantastic with what you can do, the people you can connect with. You know, I'm able to talk with people I never thought I'd be able to even just be in the same room with. You know, so you know that's great.
If you see something and you just reach out, they might be here in the U.S., but they might be in the other side of the world. But you can work with those people. Yeah.
No, you're right. I follow a lot of European artists. Not all of them are comic artists. I just love art in general, and there's some great stuff. But you know, I get to be connected with people who've worked on stuff for Disney and DreamWorks, and I'm seeing story artists and concept artists and actual animators, and I'm getting to see all this great stuff. And you're able to connect and even send them a message, and they will respond and talk to you. It's great. It's a great thing here. Now we got some add-ons. Single physical copies of issues 1 to 5. So that's $10 for each copy.
Oh yeah, by the way, those prices, just in case, those have shipping included.
Yeah. Oh, everything's shipping. So
yeah.
So it's $10 with shipping, $10 each.
Yeah.
Okay. This is great. I gotta say, I love your USB hub. I know it's sold out, but excuse me, that's just I love it. Did you go to a special place for that to have? Is that like engraved or stickered on?
It's like
excuse me.
It's like engraved because you kind of feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not it's like a sticker engraved. It's like in the middle. It's not because you kind of feel it, but it's not so into the device itself.
Yeah. Nice, and a very nice hat too. I might have to talk to you about where you're getting some of your merch. I need some Get in Tune stuff going on. So the team, this is so you're the creator. Is it El Santa?
El Santa, yeah.
Santa. I got to try to remember to think of accents when I. I'm not going to do that. Tchaikovsky. Well, just like the old classical.
Yeah, that's his name is based on because of that.
And is that El or Eli?
No,
how do you
say
Eli Santos. Okay. No, this is great. I'm always impressed by the stuff I see coming out on Kickstarters. You know. And you know this is you know the indie the indie market, these are some of the stuff I'd love to see on shelves in comic stores and on bookshelves in like Barnes and Nobles and things. A lot of great photos. Well, actually, here's something from a comic shop there.
Yeah, I have done in a couple of comic shops here in New York City.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking around them. I'm actually trying to see if there's anyone I know in the pictures right now. Because we've kind of crossed over on shows before, so I'm sure I've been at where a few of these are happening. And then basically how you're handling the funds here. We don't need that, but you're looking to give everything in May, correct? Even the physical copies?
No, the digital.
The digital's
by
nice.
the end of May, because
July.
Yeah, and then July the physical.
July, and still not too bad. That's great.
Hopefully, before I always try to put extra time for myself, but I'll think might be before that. But
yeah,
no, that's the goal.
These are really, you know, I always say this. Well, not always say it. I mean, when I see it, you got great prices on your goals. They don't feel intimidating, and you got great rewards coming along with the goals. You have an amazing team just on the artwork that I've looked at here. Where is it? Let's go back up. That's a lot. Come on, just scroll up here. Like I love the cover art. I love in here. I honestly wish I can click on them to make them bigger, just so I can see it a little more detail. But as you know, I talk about this too quite a bit. Usually, when I'm teaching, is lettering is just as important as the artwork, their imagery. I love the way your balloons flow together, the waviness of the connecting lines. It's colors are great. They're not overly powerfully bright, but they're not like dull either. You got a nice balance in color here. Composition of panel layout, simplistic, but it works. You're not trying to do anything fancy and really crazy in there. Just such easy to follow, easy to read things. And like right here, you're talking about how it's like working in an office. I mean, how many of us haven't worked in a cubicle? I mean, it's this. I've been in many art studios that this was the look. That
was the setup.
Yeah, it's very relatable just in the artwork I'm seeing right now. And I already know that as long as I can do a donation, which I'm going to try to do, I already know which level I'm going to do. I'll surprise you in the audience with that too. But you got what's this video right here? If you don't mind me, we didn't watch it.
That is actually that's actually the intro by itself, like the trailer.
Yeah,
it's so I put it just in there because
yeah. Okay. So no, I'm seriously just very impressed with this. How long have you been doing the Adventures of a System Admin?
Yes, since 2016.
So the year that you went to your first con, that year that you met me, the year you bought the book from Alex Simmons, sat down and read it, and you're like, I could do this, and you had a book out by the end of the year?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And actually when I went back to Kids Comic Con as a vendor the following year, I had 2 books.
Really? So 2016 to 2021, it's 5 years. So you're doing a book a year.
Yeah, I want to do more than that, but I was going to do that last year, but I was kind of scared to put another book out. So that's why I decided to do it now.
Well, I'll say this: don't be scared. If you could, I'm gonna be honest with you. Back from 1997, when I started self-publishing and started getting into the industry, to 2002, I put out like 6 books. Okay, and then I stopped for years due to other reasons, whatever. I'm finally getting ready to
put stuff out now, but it's been, we're looking at what I say, 2001, 2002. We're going like 20 years later. If you have the ability to do it, the funds to do it. Now I've had to, things have stopped me. Personal life has gotten in the way for me, and I've made plans to change that. But if you have the time, you have the ability, you have the funds, and you have the backing, totally go for it, man. You have 5 issues, which means you have readers, which means people like your stuff, which means they will buy something else from you. Even if you do 2 Kickstarters a year, I don't see a problem with that, as long as it's not a month apart. You're spacing them out. People are gonna eat this stuff up, and like I said, for kids, this is great. You're seeing the main character solve problems at an everyday, kind of job, whether it is reality or stylized reality, and you're going off into little other worlds or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're doing this stuff, and and there's so many people out there, kids, very techie today. I have a 5-year-old, no, now 6-year-old nephew who is amazing on his iPhone, knows how to get around this computer. The kid's 6 years old. When I was 6 years old, I didn't know how to do anything. Not that we really had much, but you know what I mean? That they're very tech savvy today.
Yeah, and by the way, talking about that, in the books, I always try to put real programs or tools that we can use in our real life. So I incorporate those tools in there, and if you read it, you can actually go and download those stuff to use it by yourself.
Now, when you're talking about real tools, you're talking about like tech tools that I can.
Yeah, like tools to like BPMs. I don't know if you're familiar with BPMs.
A little bit.
Yeah, so BPMs, like browsers that help you serve in a safe manner. Like privacy is the first thing that they got, and some other tools there that you can actually use to protect yourself or to navigate without being seen, if you like.
And that's fantastic, because there's so many people out there who are non-tech savvy. I'm 45. I grew up with computers. Actually, I'll be honest, I think my first computer I got when I was 6 or 7 years old. But I've grown up. I'm from the era where I grew up with the computers. I've kind of gained technology, but there were people who were anti it, who are still my age, and are afraid to do things on the computer because maybe they don't feel like things are safe, like you're saying, or people who are older than me, who have fears of using computers. So something like this is great. It's almost like at the end of the old He-Man cartoons where they give you a moral. At the end of your story, here's an actual advice and how to take care of yourself, your computer, or whatever. I think that's brilliant. I didn't even know that was in there. That is a fantastic addition to a book.
Thank you.
So that is great. Let's what was it here? I wanted to look at something else real quick, but yeah, this is just fantastic. You know what, you guys, I'm gonna play the trailer again. Let me give this the full screen. What I want to do is I want to play the trailer again so people can see it in case they came in a little later. Because and I also just love the animation. Right, fantastic.
My daughter has seen that like 2,000 times.
You what?
She told me to send her the video to her iPad, so every time you see her watching the video.
It's great. You know, well, the animation itself is fantastic, but the artwork looks great. It looks great moving. Have you thought about taking some of these and turning them into actual full-length motion comics?
Not really. I haven't think about it. I just thought about the animated because I did the trailer, and a lot of people always the one before this one, the last Kickstarter, I also did the same thing, like a
Yeah.
trailer. So a lot of people comment on that. So that's why I decided to do the animated of the short story. But yeah, I haven't thought about
I'm going to tell you right now, with the artists that you have and the video, you know, animators that you're using, I think even if it's not for this story, for some other type of story, maybe that's not IT related or whatever, I think with the team that you got, you can really pull off a really nice motion comic, even if it's a short 5-minute thing. And you know, I would totally watch. I'll tell you that right now. I think, you know, I'm very fascinated by it. I love that type of stuff. You know, it mixes two of my favorite things, comics and animation. So, but yeah, this is great stuff here, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what else to talk about, dude. Like, I mean, I'm sure we could talk about just BS, but like, I'm just.
We also got tagged as Project We Love by Kickstarter.
Oh, you did? Where did it
so
say
if
that?
you see in the bottom of the video on the right there, it says.
Oh yes.
No.
Oh, the other one?
No, right there. But in the bottom, like you see, there's like 3 little things right in the bottom.
Where are we looking in the video?
To the left, right there. To the left, down.
Oh, Project We Love, yes.
So
you know what? And that's great too. I love when I get to see that on them. You guys, you know, you're doing so great. I mean, you've surpassed your goal by doubling it. You have 6 days to go, and you're not far from opening up your last stretch goal.
Yeah.
This is really.
Yeah, it has been well, amazing.
How, if you don't mind me asking, how long did it take to reach the goal for you?
The main goal, like 25 hours.
So basically, a full day. You published.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. That means, to me, that means you got fans. That means you got people who want to read this, that care about this. It's gonna be good. I definitely have to make sure I donate to one of these things. It's I need to read this. I need to share this with I work with a lot of kids, and I have some kids that are very like into tech.
Mm-hmm.
And like just call up to me and say, Mr. Gracia, do you know this? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And you know, it's because they're at home learning about computers and things. And
yeah, that's the thing. Now that they are home, those little kids from 5 to 6, they are using those computers and to do homework. They are getting more savvy on that.
And just, I know this is a kid-friendly book, but what age group would you say this is for, like reading level?
I will say like 8 up, 9 up.
So basically 2nd grade and above.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Because my daughter, she's in 1st grade.
Mm-hmm.
She makes me read them because sometimes some of the words she doesn't like read it well. So, but I would say like 60% of the stuff she read it normal.
Yeah.
And the other one I gotta read it for her. But she makes me read like I gotta read like every night. I read one different one, 1 through 5, and then we go again.
Oh, that's great that your daughter is a fan of yours.
Yeah.
And your comics too. I mean, it's, you know, it says a lot too. Also,
she actually wanted me to help her make a comic.
All right, let me.
She was trying to do something here, like she created.
I'm going to give you the screen here. Okay.
She created her own little story here.
Mm-hmm.
She's stapling and everything.
That's fantastic. I mean, starting her own stuff. That's how I think everybody, you know, kind of started. And you have great kids. I've met them at the shows before. I believe I've done some drawings for them.
Yes.
They're very sweet kids you got.
Thank you. Thank you.
So sorry. So yeah, I mean, listen, I think I'm going to do a little, whoops, I want to remove that now, get us both back here. Number one, I'm gonna kind of wrap up, but I want to thank you, number one, for coming on and sharing this Kickstarter with me and my audience. You know, I've known about your stuff, and it's not like I didn't know what your story's about. You've told me at shows, and so I just haven't had a chance to sit down and read it. And that's just because usually when we're at shows, I'm busy running, running other stuff and running around like crazy. But now that I got the time, I'm going to donate. And I'm definitely going to donate to a level where I can also get the digital copy so I could read them right away. You know, I definitely do. I definitely want a physical copy too, but I'm just saying I need a digital so I can read these when they come in.
Cool.
And
please let me know any feedback so I can keep. I always try to improve something, either visual writing or market. How I always try to. So I always like feedback so I can keep doing something different, something better.
If it's gonna look like I'm looking and the story reads like at the artwork I'm looking at, I don't see anything wrong with it right now. It's going to be awesome, man. This is something that I know I could probably even sit down with my nephew and read this with him. He might enjoy. He would probably enjoy something like this. And like I said, I like that it's not a superhero story. I'm not going to knock superhero stories because I draw them. I love superheroes, but I also love non-superheroes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to find a good story that is non-superhero based because everyone thinks comics, they think superheroes. You know, one of the reasons I love indie stuff.
And it's difficult also to put it out there, like in comic book shop, because I try to get my comic out there, but whatever, the first thing that they say is it a superhero? No. Okay, so that's it. We don't want to.
Yeah, we got to get you. You know, we got to talk. I know some indie friendly stores. We'll I'll try to help you out because I'm very impressed with this. I think it would do well in certain areas. Now before I wrap up, a question did come to me. Does this have any like educational value in the sense where somebody's learning while they're reading, or is it just kind of here's an adventure and there's a little bit, like you said, here's at the end of the book, here's where you learn about this or something?
Well, throughout the book, this, like I say, I try to put tools and stuff like that you can use in real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I have it set up. Like throughout
so
the book.
Probably it's in the book. There's education kind of in the book.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not like focus on that. It's focused most on the story. But when I see I can plug in all those little stuff that you can actually use in your life, then I plug it in there.
Yeah, no, and that's fantastic. I love that. And the only reason I was asking is because, you know, I'm thinking of ways to help you get it out. Educational tools could be good ways to get into other areas, but you know, other markets. But if it's more, you know, it's great if they're reading a story and they're learning as they're not even realizing they're learning.
Yeah.
That's how it's set up. That's great.
Yeah, that's the way it's set up.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll definitely talk. I want to help you with some things now, and try to find some stuff. We'll chat privately outside of here. But I'm gonna do my wrap up. But I have to thank you for coming on. I had a lot of fun chatting today, learning more about you, learning about your story here. You know, thank you for being a creator, coming up with ideas and having comics that not somebody would normally look at. You know, this is great, and especially since you've been putting out a book a year. You're on your third Kickstarter. You've been funded within 24 hours. you know, I don't want to say that's unheard of because people do it.
Yeah.
But it says a lot about the product you're putting out, the type of story you give, the type of art, the material, the whole product in general is that good, that people wanted this so bad that in 24 hours you had your money.
Yeah.
You know, that's great. I'm thrilled to hear that for you.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna before I drop you backstage for a little bit, is there anything that we didn't talk about or anything that we didn't bring up that you'd like to just say? Or
No, we're touching a lot of stuff, even on my here. So we cover all the bases. Thank you so much for the time and for inviting me.
I hope this brings you more backers and you can reach that 4,000 stretch goal mark.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, I'm rooting for you. So,
thank you.
All right. I'm going to drop you backstage. We'll chat in a little bit.
Bye. Right. Thank you so much.
Thanks again for coming on. Let me find my screen. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Number one, don't forget to add Gordy Don on any social media, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you want to find Juan. That's where you're going to find him, under that handle. Tomorrow night I come back with a special show. I have Philip Russett. I think that's how you say his last name, coming on. He's a show promoter. He's an art rep. He has his own podcast to watch. You know, he does a lot of stuff, and he's got a book coming to Kickstarter in May called, I believe it's called Tragedy. I think you guys are, I've seen some of the artwork. It's amazing. So tomorrow night, 8:30, we're going to have him on. And next week, let me pull out his name real quick. I do apologize. Sometimes I forget how to say certain names, or I forget the names because I'm actually booked for a while, which is very nice to hear. Let me get his name. James Edok. Now, James, if you're unfamiliar with James, this is going to be next Tuesday. He's one of the biggest He-Man fans on the planet. He's written one of the books. I know I have a copy somewhere. I got a few of them. I think it's called the Art of Filmation's He-Man. I don't remember which one he did. But next week we'll talk about that. And he's got a Kickstarter up for his for a documentary called Faker, and it's about him trying to make the Faker He-Man movie. So anyway, that's next Tuesday. Tomorrow night, Philip Russett. Going to check out a lot of great stuff. 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night. You'll see some of my ads and stuff tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow night. All right. Bye, guys.